sir.
What was it that you were telling me before about Bobbie, Spencer?
She went on an errand for Mrs. Whitney. At least that's what she told me.
Was she in here this morning?
Yes, sir. She made phone calls for about an hour this morning, which she also told me Mrs. Whitney had asked her to make. I'm afraid that's all I know, sir.
Did she mention anything about my watch?
No, not that I remember, sir.
Well, I imagine that could have been the reason that Mrs. Whitney was having her work. Perhaps she wanted to have the watch repaired, eh?
It might have been, sir.
Well, one way to figure that out, I'll go upstairs and see if the watch is still here.
It isn't there, Mr. Whitney.
How do you know?
Well, I noticed it on your dressing table earlier this morning, but when I was hanging up the suits that came from the cleaner this afternoon, I saw that it was gone.
Oh, well, that's the explanation then. As it turns out, Spencer, I am going to be going back out again. I've been trying to get in touch with some people on the phone, but they seem to be all out having 3 martini lunches, so I'm going to try and see them in person.
Very good, sir. I'll get the car.
No, that won't be necessary, Spencer. Just give me the keys. It's been quite a while since I've been behind the wheel, and I don't want to forget how to drive. Thank you. Oh, and tell my wife I may be a bit late for dinner.
Yes, sir. You're sure that I can't...
No. No, Spencer, I'll drive myself.
It's not broken. It's just a little stunned.
Now, Mr. Hoffman, are you really sure it was a Mr. Schuyler Whitney who bought that watch from you?
Not this watch, darling. The other one.
No, but the name. Are you sure about the name? Did he write it down for you?
On the check?
Oh, of course. And that would really prove it.
Well, I've got good news for you. You don't have to leave the watch here. I could fix it while you wait.
No, wait, I can't wait.
To be young is to be impatient. Just wait, and I'll have it back in your hands as good as new.
Baby, you got it all wrong. Sure, I was curious about Valerie Bryson and her bandaged boyfriend.
So curious, you went all the way to Switzerland to find out more about them.
I was going there anyway. I needed a rest. Vacation, man. You know what it's like when you've been unemployed? You need a change.
Don't jive me, man. You'd still be in L.A. if you hadn't seen that story in the paper.
I don't deny it. That's where I got the idea. When I read about that guy with my name, hell, he had more than my name. He was just like me. He had the same tastes, same ambitions.
Yeah, you had ambitions, Jimmy. You smelled money all the way from L.A. to Lucerne to good old Monticello. Hey, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming you. Maybe I would have done the same thing if my name was J.L. Diedrichson.
Look, Heck. Don't you start moving in on what I got going on here.
Oh, I brought the camera. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't know you had company.
Hey, don't let it bother you. Make it a crowd.
We were just about finished here anyway.
No hurry, Jimmy. Introduce me to your friend. You're an actress, of course. Definitely a leading lady type. Or maybe an ingenue.
Hardly. I'm a photographer. This is what I do for a living.
Wait a minute, I know. Valerie Bryce. That's who you are.
Well, has my reputation preceded me?
This is a guy I knew in California. This is Hector Wilson, Valerie.
It's nice to meet you. Are you an actor, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, call me Hector. Yeah, I've done some stage work.
Don't let him fool you. He's a technician. He's one of the best. Props, lighting, set design, anything you need, he'll do it.
Oh, are you going to stay and help Jim with the company?
Sure.
No, he's...
Oh, well, which is it?
Well, Hector was just telling me he was passing through on his way to New York. Isn't that right, Hector?
Well, the truth is, Jimmy and I never got around to talking about business. We were too busy talking about you.
About me? Well, that's flattering, I hope.
Yeah, we were talking about the way you and Jimmy were reunited. After Switzerland. Boy, that's some story, you know? I got so wrapped up in talking about it, I forgot to ask Jimmy to tell him that I wanted to work with him again, just like the good old days. What do you say, Jimmy? Can't we have a reunion, too?
Oh, yeah. I just love that.
Well, what are you going to do this afternoon, Kelly?
Well, I've already put in a 10-hour day, so Geraldine gave me the afternoon off, and I thought I'd stop over and see Val at her studio.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Why don't you do that? I'm sure she'd love to see you.
It's only one problem. It's going to be at a different studio this afternoon. I'll give you one guess.
Jim Dietrichson.
Hey, you got it. Yeah, she's going to be there taking pictures.
Oh, on an assignment. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. After all, she is in business.
Nah, but I'm not sure whether this is for business or for pleasure.
Well, Kelly, friends do that sort of thing for each other. You don't like the idea, do you?
No, I don't. I still don't feel I can trust this guy, Nancy.
I have something to tell you. When I talked to Mike this morning, he told me he got a letter from the Defense Department about his inquiry into Jim Dietrichson.
Oh, geez, that happened real fast.
Yeah. He's going to bring it home tonight so you can read it.
Did Mike say that he'd already looked at it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has.
Well, come on, tell me what it said.
Don't think you're going to like it, Kelly. The record jibes with everything we know about Jim Dietrichson.
It does?
Yeah. He was a lieutenant in the Marines. He was in Vietnam towards the end of the war, and he was taken captive, which might have been lucky because the rest of his platoon was wiped out.
And he was wounded?
There was a Purple Heart in his list of decorations.
A list of decorations? Well, I guess he's a genuine war hero then, isn't he?
Now, wait a minute. Your concern was whether he was genuine, period.
Look, Nancy, there's just no reason to fight about this anymore. It's over.
So you're not going to fight about that, but I don't think that you shouldn't fight for what you want, Kel. I'm going to stay out of this.
Look, Nancy, I know what you were going to say. That I should not stop fighting for Valerie. And you're right, I'm not going to. But look, I'm starting with a tremendous disadvantage. Those two were already in love once. Valerie told me that herself.
But that was then. This is now.
And right now, Valerie's over at Jim Dietrichson's studio.
She has a reason to be there.
She has joined his acting company, Nancy.
What?
She joined. She did it because she thought she'd enjoy it. She even invited me to.
And what did you say?
Can't you guess?
No. You were a performer long before you were in children's programming.
Look, I like what I'm doing now.
And I'm sure that Valerie likes what she's doing now. But I guess that this acting class is, an enjoyable hobby. If she enjoys it, I'll bet you would, too.
Mrs. Warrenbeck, tell her to do what it says on the label. She's not to make up her own decision about it. The pharmacist was right. That's the correct dosage. When is her next one? I think it's a week from Monday. Oh, the nicest thing that's happened to me all day.
I was afraid you'd be upset, but I was having lunch over at the Atlantis, and it was so close by that I couldn't resist just coming by for one of these.
Now, what makes you think you wouldn't be welcome?
Well, for one thing, I don't have an appointment. Hi, Barbara. Hi.
No appointment necessary for this lady, is there? Come on.
Honey, I hate to keep you from your work. I know how busy you are this morning.
I am a little bit. You know, I usually go to the hospital first, not the office.
Yes, I know. You had to change your schedule this morning because of, your newest patient.
Jinx is not my newest patient. I got one just yesterday. He's 93 years old, and he complains about slowing down.
Oh, honey. Well, just the same, Jinx Avery was the reason, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. I still got to get to the hospital and then get back here. I got about 14 patients to deal with. Not going to be an easy trick to do it all.
Well, why did you do it?
Well, I suppose because it was the only time I could convince Jinx to see me since the hospital. Was not medically necessary, really. No change in her condition. I didn't really expect there to be one.
You just thought that it would help psychologically?
That's as good a word as any. Yeah, I thought it would help her morale. I don't know, maybe I'm just being an old fuddy-duddy, and I think that anybody as ill as Jinx really ought to be seeing a doctor regularly.
Honey, did you ask her about her charge accounts?
I sure did. Turned out to be just what I thought. She intends to spend up to the limit of whatever credit she has because she thinks she's not going to be held accountable for it. It's a real moral dilemma now for me. What do I do about it? Am I supposed to call all these merchants in town and warn them I can't without giving away the truth about it?
Well, you made a solemn promise.
Yeah, I know. I'm the only one who knows that she's... Oh, you know.
Yes. I know she's dying too, Miles.
I always assume that your confidence is as good as mine.
Oh, honey, of course it is. But you have to do something about this.
What can I do besides trying to tell her the error of her ways? Yeah.
Doctor, there's a Mr. Sam Conrad on the phone.
Conrad, is he a patient?
No, he's the manager of the Coach House restaurant, and he says it's urgent that he speak with you.
Well, if he says it's urgent, all right. Do you know somebody named Sam Conrad?
No, I've never heard of that name.
Apparently he's the manager of the Coach House restaurant, and he's desperate to talk to me. Yes, Mr. Conrad, this is Dr. Kavanaugh.
Dr. Kavanaugh, I'm sorry to trouble you, but the young lady gave me your name, and it seems the only way to solve this problem.
Well, what problem would that be, Mr. Conrad, and what young lady, for that matter?
Her name is Miss Avery. She came in for lunch about 2 hours ago, and she had a very good lunch indeed.
Go on.
She didn't just treat herself generously, she was also very generous to 2 other guests. She sent a bottle of Dom Perignon to their table. In case you're not familiar with champagne, Doctor, that's a very expensive one indeed.
I'm familiar
Sure with it, Mr. Conrad.
The point is, Doctor, that she ran up a bill of well over $100, and she has no money. She does have a credit card that we don't honor, and she says there is nothing she can do about our problem except...
Except call me.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, Mr. Conrad, you can let Miss Avery go. I'll be responsible for the bill.
I'm afraid I can't accept that, Dr. Kavanaugh.
Someone will have to come down here and clear up this matter in person.
Well, that's impossible for me right now.
Then I'll have to call the police.
No, wait a minute. Don't do that. All right, I'll come down and settle it right away. Goodbye.
What, she's done it again?
This time she has run up a restaurant bill that she can't pay. I guess I'm going to have to take care of it.
No, Miles, I will not let you do that.
Otherwise, she's going to end up at police headquarters. This time, Derek might not be so forgiving.
Miles, you have much more important things to do with your time than... I'll just take my check and go there myself.
Dishwashing.
Coming right out, lady. Here it is, good as new. There, you see, it isn't old Lang Syne. It's another tune, because it's another watch.
I see. How much do I owe you?
Nothing, nothing at all.
But it must have cost something.
The crystal is my little gift.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Oh, Bobbie, imagine running into you here. Well, this is really quite a coincidence, meeting you here like this, Bobbie, isn't it?
Not really. Your wife asked me to come down here.
Did she?
Yes, she wanted to have your watch fixed as soon as possible, so she asked me to find the name of the place where you bought it, where you bought her watch from.
Well, that was very thoughtful of her. And very thoughtful of you to go to all this trouble.
It's no trouble, really. I mean, it was my fault it got broken.
Tell me, did my wife come up with the name of this shop, or did you figure that out yourself?
No, I did. I just called all the antique jewelers in the book till I found Mr. Hoffman.
Well, that's genius. You know, you really ought to be a police detective, not just a housemaid. May I have it?
Yeah, sure.
Are you sure it's fixed?
Yeah, it's working.
Did you hear the little tune that it plays? Pretty little tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the least I can do to show my appreciation for all you've done for me is to offer you a lift home. The car's right over here.
I don't think so.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Bobbie. We're both going to the same place, aren't we?
Isn't Spencer...
No. As a matter of fact, Spencer isn't. It was such a lovely evening, I decided to drive myself. So it'll be just the two of us. Won't that be nice? Well, it's very clever of you, Bobbie. I mean, there must be, 100 jewelers in this town. For you to find the exact one, well, it took quite a lot of determination.
It was your wife who asked me to find him, Mr. Whitney. It wasn't my idea.
Well, yes, but you did the job. You took the initiative. You said that she doesn't even know that you're having the watch repaired, isn't that right?
Well, she had left the house when I found the right place. But I figured since I broke the watch that I should take it.
Yeah. Of course, now you know that there are two watches, don't you? I mean, I'm sure that funny little jeweler must have told you that. He did tell you that, didn't he?
No, he didn't say anything.
Oh, come on now, Bobbie. I'm certain that he recognized that the watch he was repairing wasn't the same one that I bought. See, I like this one so much that I decided, well, that I'd start a collection. You know, I do like to collect beautiful things.
Oh, in all my glory. What do you think? New hair, a new face, new nails, an old fur, but a new dress. And I'm famished.
Sounds like you didn't have time for a meal today.
Oh, today was beauty day. I always diet on beauty day. However, now I am starving. Spencer, please go tell Bobbie to bring me about a dozen sandwiches. What do you think? Sahara sunset. Oh, has my husband come home? Why is it he's never here whenever I get home from the beauty salon?
Mr. Whitney did return about 3 this afternoon, Mrs. Whitney, but he had to go out again. He said he'd be a bit late.
Well, that figures. Please go tell Bobbie to get me some food before I die of starvation.
Bobbie isn't home either, but I'll tell Hermione to fix you something. Right?
Where is she?
I'm afraid she's been gone for several hours, Raven. I was rather disturbed by it when Spencer told me.
She told me she was going on an errand for you, Mrs. Whitney, about 1:30, I think.
An errand? I never sent her on an errand.
Would it have anything to do with Mr. Whitney's watch, the one that she broke?
Oh, that's right. I told her to look up the name of the jeweler where Sky bought my watch.
Well, perhaps she thought you met her to take it there.
Watch is gone, Mrs. Whitney.
Well, great. But what's taking her so long?
Don't worry, Bobbie. We'll soon be there.
Look, we just passed a sign that said Fairfax 10 miles. We're going in the wrong direction. Would you please stop the car?
Really? Well, you know, Bobbie, you may just be right. Maybe I just pull over here and we'll figure out where we are.
You don't seem to have a map in here, Mr. Whitney.
Well, that's all right, Bobbie. To be perfectly honest, I do know just where we are.
What?
Well, I wanted to find someplace nice and quiet where we could sit and discuss our situation.
What situation?
Well, Bobbie, I love my wife. I love my wife very much, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's nice.
Yes, it is. It's very nice. And, of course, I want to avoid any kind of situation that might upset Raven. I'm sure that you can understand that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, let me see if I can understand. If I can make you understand. See, I hired our first maid. She was a very nice young lady. Her name was Chrissy. But my wife didn't really care for Chrissy very much. She was a bit too feminine, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Well, she flaunted her femininity, and my wife got a little jealous and decided to fire her. And she decided that she would handle hiring domestics from that point on.
And she hired me.
That's right. Because she thought that you were a fine, upstanding girl. She didn't know that you were a thief.
That's a lie.
Is it?
Look, I'm sorry if you feel that way, Mr. Whitney, but honest, I never stole anything from you.
All right, Bobbie, just relax. I do know, however, that you were trying to make off with my watch last evening. I pretended not to because I didn't want to cause a scene that would upset Raven. But I will tell you something, Bobbie, I don't like the idea of having thieves in my house. I've had quite enough of them already. So, Bobbie, that's the reason that I want you to resign.
You brought me all the way out here to tell me that.
Well, I wanted to get as far away from the house.
Lock the door, please.
Relax, Bobbie. Well, I said
Lock the
relax. Bobbie, now, just relax. As I was saying, I wanted to find someplace nice and quiet. And, oh, yes, I have got something for you here. It's, well, it's severance pay. All you have to do is a little favor for me.
I don't want any money, Mr. Whitney. If you want me to quit, I'll quit. Just let me out of here, please.
You'll be out soon enough, Bobbie. Just relax. You see, I don't want you in my house again.
God, please.
I want my wife to believe that you've decided to leave the job of your own volition.
Okay, fine.
So what I would like you to do is to write a little note saying that you have found that the job isn't exactly what you wanted and you've decided to leave town.
Leave town? Why?
Because you are leaving town, Bobbie. Count those notes that I gave you. Take a look at that.
They're hundreds.
That's right. There are hundreds, and there are 10 of them, which is quite enough traveling money, I think.
I don't want to leave town. Please.
Well, you don't have to. You can stay here. Of course, I can call the police and say that you were trying to steal a very, very expensive watch of mine. And then the only traveling that you would be doing is what they used to call up the river. Now, here is a notepad, Bobbie, and there is a pen. Write the note, Bobbie.
Would you like more chocolate milk, Mrs. Whitney?
No, thank you, Spencer.
Raven, you'll have no appetite for dinner at all.
But I'm hungry now.
That's the trouble with your generation. You never learn to curb your appetites.
Don't you dare tell Skylar how much I ate. He thinks I'm so dainty. Spencer, what time is he getting home?
He didn't give an exact time, Mrs. Whitney. He just said a bit later than usual.
Well, what I want to know is why is he driving? He hardly ever does that.
Well, I suppose he just felt in the mood.
Well, he's a terrible driver. He always has his mind on business or something else. You know what? I think maybe he just wanted me to worry about him.
What I'm worried about is that girl. Where could she be at this hour?
Well, I told you. I think she went to the jeweler to get his watch fixed.
This late? Personally, I don't know any all-night jewelers, do you? Spencer, are you sure she took Mr. Whitney's watch?
Yes, Mrs. Saxon, I'm quite sure. And she just better bring it back.
On the red carpet. So different being rich.
Raven, you spent just as much money in that salon when you were poor.
I know, but they treat you so differently. It's like ordinary people admire rich people. Spencer! Spencer! Quick, get rid of all the stuff. Take it to the kitchen. My husband is home.
Evening, ladies.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Wow, you smell like onions. What's new in the old homestead?
Well, we were just waiting for the Lord and Master. By the way, why were you driving yourself today?
So I wouldn't forget how. How are you this evening, Geraldine?
I'm a bit worried, frankly. Do you know that your maid has vanished?
Bobbie? Spencer said that you had sent her on an errand.
Well, I didn't send her. I think she just took it on herself to go have your watch fixed.
Oh, yeah. I bet she did. I bet that she's trying to finish the job that she started last night. She stole my watch.
Skylar, the watch is gone, so she must have taken it.
I bet she took it. And that's what she did. She stole it.
Skylar, it's not true. She was just upset because she dropped your watch, broke it, so she went to have it fixed.
Yeah, well, of course she went to have it fixed. Wouldn't do her very much good broken, would it?
Now, that's really very unkind.
No, it's very realistic, Geraldine. We took that girl into the house without knowing a thing about her past.
I know it's bothering Skylar. It's that Bobbie knew Gavin Wiley.
Yeah, she knew him well enough to help him evade the law. Did you know that, Geraldine?
Yes, I knew that.
She took this job just to see what she could take us for. I'm sure that we'll never see that lovely old watch again, or Bobbie, for that matter.
Excuse me, Mr. Whitney.
Yeah, what is it, Spencer?
I just found this.
What is it? It's from Bobbie. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Whitney, I'm very sorry, but I don't think this job is right for me.
Yeah, she's quit. I'm not surprised.
But the watch?
She took the watch with her, no doubt. Probably thinks it makes a fine severance pay.
I really didn't think she was that
Wait a
sort.
minute, listen to this. Besides, I have decided to leave town for good.
Will outside the edge of night.